What's good, YouTube? It's your boy 2K the God here, and if you hear my TV right now, I'm listening to that Liam Walsh versus Gervonta Davis fight. It's about to go down. The reason why I didn't do a breakdown of that fight is because during the time I was going to do it, I actually had an exclusive with trainer Derek James. That's the trainer for Errol Spence Jr. We talked about his upcoming fight with Kell Brooks. About an hour-long interview. Y'all know how the interviews go on this channel, man. We get somebody on and we talk to them like, you know, how you supposed to hold a conversation with cats, and the interview ends up going pretty long. So I'm gonna end up probably breaking it up in 2 or 3 videos, or maybe I just might keep it in one video. Who knows? Depends on the situation. But be on the lookout for that. That's some good shit that Mr. James was saying in that interview. All right. So for this one, we're gonna do Terence Crawford versus Felix Diaz. But I might as well, I guess, give my assessment as I'm watching Liam Walsh come out of his locker room right now. Real quick, Liam Walsh, man, he's a good UK fighter. He's a good fighter on the UK circuit. You know what I'm saying? When we compare him to American fighters that fight in the same style, you can't fuck with them cats. He's a good boxer. He likes to utilize movement, utilizes the jab. Who else does that? Guys like Jorge Linares, Mikey Garcia, Guillermo Rigondeaux. You know, those type of guys he can't get in the same ring with. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, they're, you know, different weight classes, of course. He's at 130. The others are different weight classes than him. I think actually Linares, yeah, Linares is 135. So is Mikey Garcia, and Guillermo, of course, is 122. But let's say if they all were in the same division, he couldn't fuck with those cats. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's a good fighter on the UK circuit. I mean, he's beaten, you know, guys like Gary Sykes, who's respected out there. Joe Murray was an undefeated fighter when he beat him the first time, and then he beat him again. He beat another guy named Andre Klimov. I know Andre Klimov. I know all 3 of those fighters, but Andre Klimov is another respected fighter. He's probably the best fighter on his resume, to be honest with you, in my humble opinion. But a guy like Tank, man, as much as I don't like Tank's character, you know how he tries to beef with everybody, a little bit too cocky for his own good, to the point where as a young nigga he don't respect the OGs. You know what I'm saying? He still got the skill that I can't deny. The way he demolished Jose Pedraza and many others before him, even though they weren't on the same level as a Pedraza or a Liam Walsh, he just destroyed those cats. You know what I'm saying? And in my humble opinion, Jose Pedraza gives Liam Walsh a damn good fight. You know what I'm saying? That's a close fight, one that I would pick Pedraza in. You know, of course, this is the Pedraza before he fought Tank Davis. You know what I'm saying? So, really, this is kind of a setback, or not a setback, but a step back in competition for Gervonta Tank Davis. It's not a huge step back, but it's a small step back. You know what I'm saying? But this is the kicker. Tank, from what I've been hearing, hasn't been taking this fight very seriously, which is kind of hard to believe, because his character and whole, as it comes to training, he takes training very seriously. He's very grounded. His coaches don't have anything to get mad at him about, because he doesn't let outside influences fuck up his focus or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard for me to believe what I'm hearing in the grapevine, that he's not taking training seriously. But one thing he did do that is a fact, he did 2 things. One, he missed weight, but he only missed it for 2 ounces. And like I told a couple people I fuck with, all he really had to do was go take a shit, get back on the scales, and the 2 ounces are gone. You know what I'm saying? But it is a testament to how he may not have been that focused in order to miss weight, right? And another thing he did was he ended up going to UK, I believe it was like a few days notice, or maybe a week notice, whereas everybody knows if you're changing venues across country, you're leaving your native country, you need at least a 2-week minimum to actually get acclimated with the environment. So that's another thing that could be a testament to him lacking focus and training. But nevertheless, to be honest with you, man, he could lack focus and training. Given his skill set, he should still be the guy like Liam Walsh. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to shit on Liam Walsh too much, but it's not a matchup where it's I mean, this is kind of like how I felt about Canelo and Liam Smith. I tried to tell cats from day one Canelo was going to destroy Liam Smith. It was a fight that we probably shouldn't even have, you know what I'm saying? But there was still cats out there, not even British cats, American cats that were trying to say Liam Smith was going to give Canelo problems. And, I mean, it is what it is. People had their own opinion. But like I said, man, I know how to do this shit, man, like the back of my hand. Breaking down fights is what I do. Giving educated analysis is what I do. And my educated analysis on that Canelo-Liam Smith fight was that it was going to be an easy fight. And my educated analysis for this one, it says it's going to be an easy fight. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I like tough, close fights. And Liam Walsh does have the skills to actually do the things that I feel a fighter needs to do to beat a guy like Tank Davis, and that is box him, which is exactly what Jose Pedraza should have done, but he didn't do. Instead, he had that dumbass game plan of standing right in front of him, right? So Liam Walsh fights the way he should to actually beat a Tank. I just don't think he has the skill level to beat a Tank, right? So I got Tank, possibly by knockout, but we'll see how that goes. So let's go into what this damn video is really for. I just spent, what, 6 minutes talking about this damn fight. You know, we got Terence Crawford, 30-0 with 21 knockouts, reigning WBC and WBO 140-pound champion, going up against Felix Diaz, who's 20-9 with no losses, right? At least that's what it should be, because he beat Lamont Peterson in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Felix Diaz is an undefeated fighter in my eyes. I won't even say it's a real record. Fuck it. He's 20-9 with no losses. Anybody want to get mad, get mad. You know what I'm saying? So we got two undefeated fighters here. You know what I'm saying? But man, this is a mega fight that's not being billed as a mega fight, and the reason why it's not is because Felix Diaz is not a huge draw, and really Terence Crawford isn't a big draw like he should be. This is a guy that, in my opinion, and on my pound for pound list, he's number 2 right now. Number 1 is Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying? He should be one of the most popular fighters in the sport, bar none. And for whatever reasons, right? He's not. And this is why this fight is, you know, it's not really a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And to the average fan, but to the boxing enthusiasts, you know, the real boxing pundits out there, this is a huge deal. One of the reasons why it's a huge deal is because a fight that's looming, a possible fight that can name our first undisputed champion in men's boxing since 2006, when O'Neal Bell was the undisputed champion at cruiserweight, right? A fight with Julius Andongo, who has the IBF and the WBA titles. That fight is looming. And this is a very, very dangerous fight, with the opportunity of being an undisputed champion being in the near future for Terence Crawford, right? So Felix Diaz, man, what y'all niggas don't understand, man. Dude is an he's an undefeated fighter, in my eyes, but he's a former Olympic gold medalist. You know what I'm saying? And he comes, I think he's Dominican, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look that up. YouTube, go and correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he's Dominican. And not a lot of fighters come out of the Dominican Republic like that. I mean, shit, really, their best fighters like Argenis Mendez. You know what I'm saying? Same cat that got knocked out, you know, brutally in the first time around against Rancis Barthélemy, and then got knocked out brutally by fucking Robert Easter Jr. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they don't really have a lot of fighters coming out of that country. And Felix Diaz, he's a beast, dog. I mean, he's a smart-ass fighter in the ring. I don't think he's as smart as Terence Crawford, and in a minute I'll tell you how that's going to be the difference. But he's got quick feet. He's an excellent boxer. He's got good IQ, like I said. He can elude shots. He can be hit. Lamont Peterson hit him with some good shots, but he's good at elusiveness. He doesn't have he can move his head well. He can move his upper body very well. You throw a punch at him, my man is gonna dodge out the way of that shit real quick. So you need to actually time it and place it in a position to where he's not actually there yet, and try to actually make the assumption that he's gonna move into that punch. That's kind of how you gotta punch at Felix Diaz. It's kind of how you gotta punch at defensive fighters like that in general, right? Like Guillermo, who like to move their upper body. You gotta place a punch in a position where you think they're gonna move. Also, my man, I think I already said he has fast hands. I know I said he had quick feet, but he has fast hands. And he throws nice ass combinations, man, when you allow him to. He beat the fucking shit out of Sammy Vasquez. And this was at a time where Sammy Vasquez was seen as one of the better welterweights, or the better prospects at welterweight anyway, right? So a lot of people had a lot of stock into Sammy Vasquez, and they're saying, man, he could be trouble for anybody. And a lot of motherfuckers are trying to say Sammy Vasquez could be a problem for the top guys at 147, like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, you know, Kell Brook, etc., etc. And Felix Diaz moved up from 140 to 147 and went ahead and quieted that storm. You know what I mean? So this is he's a tough cookie, man. He's no motherfucking pushover. This is a tough fight for Terence Crawford to take. My opinion, man, Crawford will need to fight Felix Diaz much how he fought Hank Lundy. He would need to be the bully. In the process of being the bully, he's going to take some shots, right? But see, what he cannot do is allow Felix Diaz to get comfortable. Because if he gets comfortable, that's when he will try to box circles around you. That's when he will be possibly successful at boxing circles around you. Terence Crawford's an excellent boxer. We saw that against Victor Postal, right? Motherfucker can fight inside, can fight outside. You know what I'm saying? He can use the ring if he needs to, or he could keep it in a motherfucking phone booth in the middle of the ring. Terence Crawford has all the tools that any trainer would drool over. On top of everything, he's a switch hitter, meaning he can fight you orthodox or he can fight you in an unorthodox in a southpaw stance. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? One thing that I always emphasize about fighters like Terence Crawford, and I will always emphasize because it's very important when you're fucking training to fight a switch hitter, is that you have to train to fight two guys in one training camp, okay? You got to bring in southpaws as sparring partners, and you got to bring in orthodox fighters as sparring partners, because you don't know how this guy's going to look, especially when your opponent is equally good at both stances, right? And that's Terence Crawford. So you have to train for two fucking fighters, and it could take its toll. I mean, it could be a situation where you're like, you're mentally fucked going into the ring before the fight even happens, because you're not sure what the fuck he's gonna do. You try to prepare yourself as best as possible, and you have a game plan, but you definitely have to have a backup plan just in case he wants to switch up on you. You know what I'm saying? So that tidbit followed by Terence Crawford's IQ, that's why I'm going with Terence Crawford in this fight. You know what I'm saying? I got Crawford by unanimous decision. I don't think he'll knock Felix Diaz out. And to be honest with you, I think it's a close unanimous decision. It could be a 115-113 type of unanimous decision, where Felix Diaz could possibly win like 5 rounds, out of the 12. You know what I'm saying? Shit, he might could win 6 and make it a draw. You know what I mean? One thing I do see happening possibly is if Terence Crawford does play the bully, he might clip Felix Diaz while he's doing some movement, and it might knock him off balance, and he might get a knockdown in this fight. But I don't see Felix getting a knockdown on Terence Crawford. If he wins this fight, it's going to be off of pure 100% boxing ability, just outboxing the shit out of Terence Crawford, which in itself will be a ridiculous feat. You know what I'm saying? If he outboxed Terence Crawford. But a little bit of that would have to be Terence going into the ring with the wrong game plan and not fully executing the things that he needed to execute in order to win this fight. And I think the first round of Walsh Gervonta Davis just started, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this video short. So I got Davis by KO. First round just started. Davis already hit this nigga with a jab very easily. You know what I'm saying? They measuring each other up right now. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up this fight, or finish watching this fight. So I got Davis by KO, possibly unanimous decision. I got Terence Crawford by unanimous decision over Felix Diaz. Hopefully we get a fight with Julius Ndongo to name us an undisputed champion in men's boxing since 2006, because we really need to catch up with the women. You know, Cecilia Braga has been undisputed champion for a long ass time now. All right, YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think. But be real. Also, be on the lookout for that interview with Derek James about Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo and a few other things. Be on the lookout for that. I'll post that shortly. This is Real Talk for real fans. 1.